Hello everyone, my name is SVPKingBee, and today we're going to be continuing on with the Pokemon Emerald Nuzlocke. As you probably already know, first Nuzlocke that I've done, and we're going to be picking it up where we left off with Watson and the Dynamo badge. Don't forget please to subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, like the video, leave a comment, you know all of those things. You can catch me on Twitter at SVPKingBee and on Twitch live at SVPKingBee as well. Alright, continuing on, so I went through and did a little bit of battling and raising and ended up catching this here Marill. It's the beginning of a couple of captures, so this Marill was the main one that I really wanted to do. I believe it had huge power as its ability, so it was great, and I named him Alice. Respect his life choices. From there we went to and used Rock Smash and found ourselves a Geodude on the next route. After evolving Marill into a Azumarill, as you just saw. And that gave me the encounter on the next route, because otherwise you could only get a fishing encounter, and I think I really needed something else, so I went with the rock and ground type with Geodude, and named it Rocky 7, because Rocky 2 plus Rocky V equals Rocky 7. And if you don't know that joke, watch The Simpsons. Moving right along, we went all the way up through the grass and to our next capture, which was the Numel. And we managed to do pretty well here. We used Confusion on it, and I was, at this point I was debating whether I wanted to have it. I was really looking forward to having a Slugma, to be really honest, and obviously you don't get a choice in a Nuzlocke, but I did what I could. I really had difficulty figuring out what to nickname it and ended up calling it Itali, for reasons beyond my own comprehension, because I don't actually know what Itali means, or what name it is, but hey. And then we went through the next cave, and that found us a Torkoal as our very first Pokemon. Battled with it really quickly, threw a ball at it, and we had our fourth Pokemon in a very short amount of time. But everyone was going along pretty well, everyone was raising pretty well, and I was pretty satisfied with where we were at the moment, in terms of what the team we had and how we were progressing during the game. Caught the Torkoal, everything was fine, and I nicknamed it Tortle, because I am really, really bad at coming up with nicknames apparently. It's why you'll find, as I'm actually recording this a bit later, it's why you find I come up with themes nowadays for the nicknaming. Up the next route, where all of the ash falls, I found a Spinder. Not what I was hoping to find. I know Skarmory's rare, but again, Skarmory would have been nice, and it felt like I've been in a bit of a, I'm not going to say a bind, but I've been a bit, I'm unhappy with the types of Pokemon that I've been finding, but that's okay. I named the Spinder Dean, and we continued on to the next few routes, where I even caught even more. So I'm actually pretty happy. But along the way, I had a bit of a poor experience with the classic ninja hiding in the ash, who exploded coughing, and Bee went down. Thank you for your sacrifice, Bee. You will always be remembered as a fantastic Dustox. I have to admit, I wasn't too happy with Dustox. I wasn't all that enthused about it during the run, and then it was proving itself, and then I lost it to an annoying Pokemon that I should have known, I should have thought about it. Either way, along the next route, I found a Seviper, and I was actually pretty excited. I've never used Seviper in a run before, at least not that I can remember, so I absolutely caught it, and gave it the nickname Twirly. At the time, I was thinking, if I recall correctly, as weird as it was, I was thinking about the dancers and like twirling, and I meant to say Twisty, but I think I called it Twirly. It didn't go in the ball straight away, but you know, we got it now, and hey, I'm not all unhappy with getting a Seviper, and added it to the team, I believe, in place of Bee, our beautiful Dustox. As we continued on, I encountered another Pokemon at Meteor Falls, or Meteorite Falls, than that place. I've totally forgotten. Anyway, it was a Zubat, which, it's really annoying to find another one, if I'm being completely honest. I wasn't having a lot of luck with the variety in this run, so I'm not super satisfied with everything that's been going on in this particular Nuzlocke. You get what you get. Realistically, everyone was coming along pretty well. Slate was at a decent level and everything was happy. I nicknamed Zubat Lars. No real reason, just as always, my nicknaming in this particular run wasn't amazing. Once we finished off with all that, we went up Mount Chimney and fought Maxie. I don't recall this being a particularly difficult run, with the exception of, as always, Sand Attack. But either way, we continued to go on with Mudshot, and I was hoping that Slate would be able to take it out on his own, but Mighty Ender's sand attacks continually lowered our accuracy, and when Maxie used a super potion, it was really putting us in a position where it was going to be an absolute pain in the neck. Well, we kept going, and I swapped out ultimately to Finn to try and see if we could finish it off with another Pokemon. He did sand attack me again, but Finn was able to go the distance in the end. I did try a couple of different moves. Bite, I know, is not a very powerful move, but I just wanted to give it all a go, keep seeing what we could go with, basically. Either way, it didn't pan out for me, and I swapped out to Alice the Azumarill, respect his life choices, and began a rollout. Rollout carries us through the rest of this battle. You can see, knocked out Zubat with absolute ease, and now we're at our 4th level rollout, and Camerupt goes down without any issues either, winning us the battle. Twirly got themselves up to level 19, and she tried to learn Screech, which I replaced Rap with, I believe, so that I could have some advantage coming up into the later gyms. I was really thinking of her for Norman's gym. Either way, in Flannery's town, I take the egg, which is going to be one of the other choices that I have moving forward. I have actually a pretty good battle against Flannery. I suspect that I was going to... Oh wow, I took a long time thinking about this, didn't I? I bubble beamed first Numel, and Numel was all good, taken down in one hit, and I expected this battle to pretty much go pretty easily. Between Alice and Slate, I was really comfortable with everything that was going on. Alice went to take down the Slugma. Yes, Flannery was healing, but ultimately it was going to be Bubble Beam. Slugma wasn't probably going to be much of an issue, if an issue at all. However, she did manage to poison Alice, and I didn't really want to leave him in for any further damage, so I made the decision to switch out to Slate now. Camerupt was where things started to really turn around for in Flannery's favour. I wasn't really happy with this at all. But she used Attract on Slate. Slate falls in love, and at this point I thought might be a problem. I wasn't too worried at the time, but I swapped into Finn, knowing that he didn't have any attacks that could hit a Camerupt with good power. I really do, I'll admit, I forget that Gyarados in Generation 3 just doesn't have the move pool that he gets in later generations. Like, the move pool in Gen 3 is pretty sparse. We get a lot of gaps between levels, and it's quite noticeable. I swap back out for Slate, hoping that Camerupt doesn't use Attract again, but giving it a shot either way. Mudshot gets it down to red health. It uses Tackle, so thankfully I don't have to deal with that again. Mudshot misses, Tackle again, Mudshot to knock it out, and we're pretty much home free at this point. All Flannery has left is a Torkoal, and I should have no trouble knocking it out between Mudshot and probably Water Gun. This is where my hubris comes into play, however, because then Torkoal uses Overheat, and down goes Slate. I was absolutely mortified. I was not expecting that loss, and at this point, you know, at the highest level Pokemon I had, the most capable Pokemon I had, has now been knocked out, and I had to decide what to do. I believe I swapped back out for Finn just to finish off the battle. Finn, unfortunately, Intimidate's not working, good old White Smoke. I cured Alice of poisoning, not expecting the Attract, but it turns out that the Attract was the problem. Sent Alice back in, took a Body Slam like a champ, unfortunately got paralyzed, so I swapped back in for Finn again, and once again Torkoal uses Attract, and I wasn't sure what to do. None of the Pokemon that were going to be good in this battle were going to be effective against a Pokemon that could keep using Attract on us. I had to take a risk, and I healed up Finn to try and allow him to stay alive long enough to swap into Azumarill, and then healed Alice up, and then ultimately swapped into Alice, used Bubble Beam, and just took down Torkoal finally after all this time, after all that trouble with status effects and everything else, losing Slate. We won the badge from Flannery. Unfortunately, I had to deposit Slate, and I was feeling rather unhappy about this. I stored the egg in the live box, put Slate in the dead box, and then had to decide who I was going to replace on my team. Before deciding, I went over to the desert and to the Mirage Tower, and I made another mistake. I'm quite liable to make these mistakes in a lot of battles, unfortunately, but I fought this here Sandshrew, who was my first encounter in Mirage Tower, and killed it. Well, that was dumb. When I made it all the way to the top, I picked the Claw Fossil. I could make a fossil joke here, but I'm not going to. Once taking the Claw Fossil, obviously the Mirage Tower disappears. I put it away and ultimately forgot about it. This will come into play later. In the desert, I found myself a Trapinch, and I was so happy. If you don't know, this is where you're going to find out. Flygon is my favourite Pokemon. And here it is, in all its glory. Here is a Trapinch. So I was really looking forward to running with a Flygon through to the end of the, till the end of the run. I named it Witherwing. Unfortunately, I couldn't fit the S at the end, so it was going to be Witherwings, but it's Witherwing. But that's okay. I was stoked. I had a Trapinch. I was very much looking forward to this. After that, I decided that I needed to do some grinding, because I really needed to get up to a much higher level to face Norman. I didn't really feel like we were capable of doing that. So I was using the experience share. I was using it through the whole run. It wasn't my, this is my first Nuzlocke run. I was trying to do the best that I could with what I had. So I just fought Pokemon after Pokemon after Pokemon, trying to raise them up to, just a decent level so that I would be able to fight Norman on a even playing field. Alice up to level 30 and Twirly up to level 29. I left the others at a lower level thinking it wouldn't be much of a problem. These were the two I really wanted to have by my side facing Norman. Unfortunately, we got into a bit of trouble. The Slackoth in one of the rooms, one of the ordinary trainers in Norman's gym, used counter on me. Didn't die, used counter and knocked Twirly out. I had been pretty confident about my strategy going into Norman and was feeling pretty confident and prepared to face the gym in general. This put me in a bit of an awkward position because I only had Alice to rely on, but I figured we'd be okay. So I go into the critical hit, not the critical hit, the attack room, I believe, and faced this Zangoose. Twice in a row, I missed rollout and it's managed to set up 2 Swords Dance. I was screwed. I made an error of judgment and I was absolutely screwed. Alice got knocked out, none of my other Pokemon were going to be able to outspeed Zangoose. I did try to throw out Evil P and use Stun Spore, didn't work. Tried to throw out Finn, at least being the strongest Pokemon that I had, and tried to work with that, but Zangoose outsped 1 slash because of +4 in attack. Down goes Finn. Itali knew, unfortunately, he wouldn't be able to stand up. My poor sweet Witherwing. No, I didn't want to do this, but I had no choice, and slash dead. And my entire team beaten by 1 Zangoose. This was quite honestly some of the most difficult thing. It was really difficult. This was the first time first Nuzlocke, as I've mentioned many times. Losing an entire team was not something that I expected. So off screen, I had to go and do a bit of grinding, but before that I had to pick a team. So I picked the team of Lars the Zubat, Deville the Tentacool, Rocky 7 our Geodude, Tortle the Torkoal, Marv our Magikarp, and finally Rufus, I think our 4th Poochyena. And this was the team that I was going with. Ultimately, I ended up with this team, 4 Pokemon at level 30 or 29, Rufus and Marv at lower levels, but I thought this was the team that was going to carry me in. I was really confident. All of them are at decent levels, and I was quite happy to go and reface the Zangoose trainer. This time around, it only managed to get off the one Swords Dance before being hit by a Flamethrower. When it went for its second, I knocked it out with the second Flamethrower. Revenge! 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 Maybe not revenge, but it certainly was cathartic to knock that Zangoose out. On to Norman the gym leader, and we knocked out his Spinder in 1 hit with Flamethrower. Tortle was going to be my king. He was the man. Flamethrower knocks out Vigoroth in 1 hit. I am absolutely satisfied that we are going to win this battle. Use Flamethrower, Linoone flinches me with Headbutt. That's alright, Super Potion up so that we don't die from the follow-up Headbutt. He uses Belly Drum, okay? Not the end of the world, not the end of the world. Flamethrower should still be able to hit... Oh, Headbutt flinched me again, okay. Headbutt hit me again. I was knocked down to low health. I had to keep trying to heal. Slash almost knocks me out again. I'm starting to get nervous now. Facade almost knocks me out. I search my bag looking for some higher level healing items other than Super Potions, but of course, at this point, I don't have Hyper Potions, so I just go to the Super Potion. One headbutt knocks me out, and I'm down. I'm gone. I was a bit worried at this point, because as much as a Lanoon shouldn't be giving you too much issues, it made me flinch again with Headbutt. I had to heal, then it used Headbutt, and I was down to half. Use Slash, I had to heal. And this would be the way that this battle would go from here on out. Headbutt, heal. Headbutt, heal. Facade, heal. It didn't matter. There was no chance that Rocky 7 was going to live. And a critical hit from Lanoon knocks me out. Critical hits do double in this generation, I believe. I had people at a high enough level. I checked out their defensive stats and chucked out Deville, hoping to win it, and unfortunately, just not good enough. Deville knocked it out. I think I was looking at the speed stats, maybe. Either way, I went to attack and knocked it out. He used a Hyper Potion. I didn't know what to do. Lars, lost, down. Lars was down. Marv had to be sent out. My whole team, again, knocked out by one Pokemon. A Lanoon this time. I couldn't believe it. I legitimately couldn't believe it. And I ended up with another completely knocked out team. And it was here that I decided that I was done. The team that I had left, so I went through and I deposited all of our fallen warriors, and I gotta admit, this was a pretty emotional moment. Like, I think this was the first time I'd experienced this, where I grinded for so long, and then had the whole team knocked out. First Nuzlocke, as I mentioned. So I was feeling pretty discouraged, and I'll freely admit here that I had forgotten about the fossil. As I said earlier, I forgot the fossil. I was looking at a team that I just didn't think could handle everything that was going to come up. I knew it was a Wynaut in the egg, so that was unfortunately just not a place that I thought I could work with. I knew I had another Wurmple, so either a Beautifier or a Dustox, another Tentacle, so another Tentacruel, which unfortunately was just taken down so easily that I wasn't certain was really going to have enough power, and a Spinder. So when I saw these four Pokemon, and I have to admit, now that I have played more Nuzlockes, I will say I should have been a lot more accepting of the Pokemon that I had and tried. And I didn't even remember that I picked up the Claw Fossil and would have had an Anorith. So I should have had another try. And I didn't, and that's my own fault. But at that point, what else can I do? The game to me was over. And at this point, I'm not going to revisit it. However, for a very first Nuzlocke, I am incredibly pleased with the result that I have. I could have done better, I'll freely admit that, but I'm really happy that I had what I had. And I'm really happy that I was able to give this a go and to, just see what came out from it. And really have a learning experience. As you'll find out soon, I'm recording this audio clip, well after I finished this. I've finished a fair few more recordings since, and I'm just doing a lot of the editing and compiling at this point. Honestly, at this point, I can look back and say that this was an incredible first experience at a Nuzlocke, and at the same time, I feel like I held myself fairly well considering some of the limitations, and yet I'm really pleased with the result that I had. So, I honour the dead. I honour these Pokemon that were my first Nuzlocke challenges. Thank you everyone so much for watching. My name is SVP, talking on a KingBee, and I'm buzzing out.